First of all, science does prove things. That's why they do science.
Okay.
And proof and evidence are synonymous. They're the same thing.
So you hear that,
That's my
Paul?
answer to that. I'm going to and hold on.
Okay.
You asked for some court cases. We'll get to that. Nathan, how long you got left?
10 minutes.
You got 10 minutes?
10 minutes. Are we doing an after show, though?
Can I just get in here and say that's why ballers hang their hats on that science? Because it's what they think they have.
Yeah, they say science because it's a magical word that greases the skids of their pseudoscience claims. They simultaneously will declare that science itself proves nothing, which it absolutely does. Because if they need to change their just so story at a later date, i.e. their pseudoscience just so story, claimed to be science, then they must declare that science doesn't prove things, otherwise their pseudoscience declarations couldn't be changed at a later date, and they must be when they get debunked or something better comes along.
Yeah, there's a few. I'll tell you what. Over the past 4 days, I've witnessed such astonishingly stupid arguments and gestures. I don't know what to say. I never thought some of these things that I've heard would be breached. But I'll tell you what, hold their beer, because they're raising the bar. I never thought that, and I don't know about for you, but for me, the most incredibly stupid gesture that I've seen was Red's Pretendrix tilted shelf. I mean, I thought that was number one, that was going to stay number one, and no one would even attempt to get close. But I have a contender. If you guys want to see it.
See it? Yeah? You want to do
you
things?
guys want to see it? Here. Let's go ahead and share the screen.
Just give me 30 seconds.
All right. Just tell me when it's up. Before that 30 seconds is up, let's give an honorable dishonorable mention to Sean G. I don't know if you know this clown. He's in the woodshed permanently. So he's pontificating. It's not 8 inches per square mile. It's now 0.67 feet per square mile. That's his court case.
It's amazing. You're up. You're presented.
Yeah. So anything on Sean G very quickly?
Sounds like a straw man to me.
Anybody?
Equivocator. Master equivocator.
Equivocator. Now, let me say it again. It's not 8 inches per square mile. It's 0.67 feet per square mile. Any problems with that?
I didn't hear square.
Yeah, as opposed to miles squared, but this is all nonsense anyway. Yeah.
Where do you get the other?
You square the mile, but hold on, just around that in case anybody it slipped. You square the mile. That's what you do.
Are those nautical miles or?
It doesn't matter. Let's move on. It does matter, actually. I don't want anyone to give me shit in the comments for that. Yes, okay, it's slightly different. Who cares? It's not the point. Right, you're on. Let's go.
Yeah, it's getting close to the end here.
Is it 50 square miles or 50 miles squared? Or is it the same? Sorry.
No worries.
Or is it 50 miles squared?
No, Ranty's got something to
add. Remember with Isa.
We're just rumpusing him for a bit, because I know QE gets a little bit edgy.
I love it. That's why I come on the show. I want it. Where's chocolate?
Where's Chucky? You there, Chuck?
He's on mute.
Oh, he's at work. So, as always.
Yo.
There he is.
Okay, right. Has everyone got it out of their system now? Can you all pop yourselves on mute so I can be assured that you're not going to interrupt this very brief presentation?
Who said it was brief?
I'm just wishful thinking.
Yeah. All right, we good?
Okay, I've put myself on mute.
think we're good. We're good. We're good.
All right, so this is the challenger
I'm
to
on mute
Red's.
now.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I'm on mute as well.
Can everyone? Okay, everyone, just tell us that they're on mute. Okay.
Yeah, look, get it out of your systems.
I'm on mute.
Good, good. Have you all got it out of your system now? Seriously, because limited time for the live show. I want it to be an hour. Right, go ahead, John.
All right, like I said, this is the challenger to Red's Pretenderics tilted shelf. If you don't know what I mean, get with me later and I'll show you. So this is a gentleman named Bash Prompt. I don't know. I think I recall him a long time ago, just briefly, but he's just tumbled back onto the scene. And I don't know if you guys can read this. This is what he presented yesterday, the Winter Flat Earth Paradox 101. So let me read this to you without looking at the graphics. Let me just read this to you. How do three observers that should be viewing diametrically opposite to each other on a flat Earth see the exact same star field as one another? Clearly, the South Pole is the central point of the flat Earth. And yet, three diametrically opposite observers in the northern hemisphere can do the same thing and see the same star field. So the North Pole and the South Pole are both the center of the flat Earth. How do you mental gymnastics that without realizing you are an expletive retard? And then the fine print, if you can't read it, I'll let you know what it says. I've asked this of every flat earther I've met for almost half a decade now and had zero responses. So we can go through and tear this up pretty easily.
Let's do it. I don't mind staying on a bit longer to do exactly that. Perfect.
I didn't catch that, Nathan.
I said I don't mind staying on a bit longer. I have had this presented to me on Snack to the Futures channel, and I want to see if you rip it to pieces in the same way I did. So, if anything, if we're going to end up being live a little bit longer than necessary, I'm happy to do so, just to see how you rip this nonsense to pieces.
Well, number one, everyone could see there's one big problem right in the center, right? What is this? If you're presenting this argument to me, this is the AE map. Aren't you assuming something here? Right? Well, this is not my map, number one. Number two, what this crayon muncher did, and I hope everyone could see that he got a graphic or a picture of Starfield, right? So what this idiot did was cut it out and then just place it in his graphic with different orientations to Africa, Australia, and South America on his begging the question little nonsensical flat earth here. You see what he did, folks? I was shocked, right? But there was a flat earther. He come on. It was like he was, snorting coke. He was like one of the chipmunks, and he was talking real fast. And he said, he offered the question, well, where's the data? Where's the people that were actually on these continents? Where's the GPS data, right? And the video. Here's his comebacks. Which country is fake? Millions of photos of the night sky are available. There are observatories in every one of these countries. There's people in every one of these countries. And finally, this is a thought experiment. That was his defense. I was listening to it late last night, almost speechless on how stupid this is. Now, I don't know if it overtakes Red's Pretenderics tilted shelf, but this guy's a challenger right here. Any comments, quick comments, questions? Do I need to go over anything in here?
No, you ripped it apart the same way I did. So Skyfly Bride presented exactly the same thing. I think it was actually on Hitchhiker's Guide to Earth channel. And I said exactly the same thing. Do you want to show me that happening? Because he had a cartoon picture of three people sat on each edge of those continents in the same positions he's got these blue arrows coming from. And he asked the same question, but without the copy and paste Starfield pictures. And I asked the same question, well, do you want to show me that happening then? And he was like, well, no, I'm just asking you for an explanation based on this cartoon. I'm like, no, show me it actually being done. Show me that is actually the case. Show me someone at the centre confirming the North Pole. You know, if you haven't actually done this, as your contestant put it, it's a thought experiment. Well, who gives a shit? Secondly, models are pseudoscience. This is a global projection. The azimuthal equidistant projection is a projection of a globe. This isn't my model. I don't have a model. Models are pseudoscience. We don't live on an azimuthal equidistant projection. It's just nonsense. That's the first thing. The second thing is it's not our map. It's a global projection. So people who hold this up as their map, well, you're wrong. I'm sorry. This is a elite global projection. So don't know where you're getting that from. If you want to hold it up as your flat Earth model, you're just wrong. Because number one, models are pseudoscience. Number two, this is not a flat Earth model. That's all I've got to say to it. Anybody else on the panel have any address? If not, we'll round out this live show and ask everybody watching in Nathan Oakley to stay tuned.
What about the copied Starfield here?
Oh, that's just a joke.
Well, I actually have something useful to say about it, or at least I think it's useful. It's something that came up in the earlier parts of the debates when we weren't just dealing with the scientific method primarily. And that is that issue with how these stars are visible over whatever presumed shape of the Earth that would be flat you're going to have, it remains an issue. And it's one of the issues that a rectangular looping flat Earth model that I basically have been dragging around does actually solve that issue. That one particular issue doesn't mean anything, especially not scientifically, but just want to point that out.
Yeah, thanks for that. Let's just stick with this.
You're welcome.
So let's go with another one. Diametrically opposed observers. Are these diametrically opposed?
No.
Is this observer diametrically opposed to this observer?
No, but also, you know, they're assuming that is the actual geographical locations.
Right.
But no,
right.
I'm
not dealing with that. I'm just,
no, they're not.
The diametrically, just the diametrically opposed statement.
Not even on that model. No.
And what is this with the North? And yet 3 diametrically, there it is again, opposite observers in the Northern Hemisphere can do the same thing. You know, so people in the Northern Hemisphere can see this same star field right here? Really? The diametrically opposed ones. I mean, you got to be some type of retard to put this, you actually made this, right? And then presented it. Now, to make it's one thing. To actually present this to the public, that's quite another.
The other thing is the polished up version that Anthony has used of the same thing would be the same argument, but the antithesis, if you know what I mean. In other words, he's saying, can you show me this happening? That's what Anthony used to ask with a similar example, right? Do you remember?
Yeah.
They're like, that's how I remembered that was my debunking, because I was like, hang on a second, this is what Anthony puts forward and asks them to actually show it. Here I'm being presented it back like it's some sort of flat Earth debunking. I'm like, well, can you show that happening? Has it actually been done? I know, thought experiment, right? Oh, right. That's nice.
Thought experiment. I lost it. And should we tell them what they actually need besides having 3 people on these different continents? Should we tell them what they actually need, or no?
Everything they claim, but yeah, list it.
No, I'm not.
Oh, go on.
Just let them go. I need this to run its course.
Oh, you want somebody to actually come and actually present it so you can tell them what you want.
No, I just want to see how far it'll go.
Fair enough. I'll just do a quick shout out before we round out and ask everyone to stay tuned on the premiering stream. So Retro Bill, shout out for the super chat. He says 4 more hours, 4 more hours. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. So with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who have tuned in on Nathan Oakley 1980 live stream. As I say, stay tuned if you're watching on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, as there will be an after show to follow. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of today's debating panel, and of course a massive thank you to all of you who tuned in. Hopefully you liked, commented, shared, subscribed, smashed the super chat and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!